Page 14, do you hear what I hear? We've got a lot of notes in this. Let's see what we got. See, when the music starts getting tricky or whatever, I just trust that I have a process for learning a piece of music and it'll take me where I need to go. So I trust the process. I look it over. It's 3 pages long, more or less. They're not full pages, but it's close enough. I just want an idea of how long it is. The clef signs, at least to start, are treble and bass clef. There's 1 sharp in the key signature, so this is in the key of G major. 4/4 time signature, 1 hand at a time, because we got 8th notes going nuts. We're starting here. I don't need that chart at the top. I don't use them. Just 1 and 3, that puts the hand here to start. 1, 2, 3, and then for the next one, they want you to come down here. 2, 3. And that's good practice. It's good exercise. You need to be able to do this, go up or down, 1 note, eventually, without even looking at the keyboard. However, if I were going to play this, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't finger it that way. I would use 2nd finger here and just bring the thumb down. I'm just spreading out a little bit. You're going to find, as the music gets trickier, that when you're in a 5-finger position, the outside fingers have to cover 2 notes. Sometimes without moving the hand. That way we got 7 notes covered. And that's all I'm doing here. I'm just bringing the thumb down. That's how I would actually finger it. But if you want to practice this, or your teacher wants you to, that's fine. And then measure 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So when I get to the 8th notes, I got to count 1 and 2 in. Measure 8. 1 and the left hand, LH is left hand, plays the top note. 1. So then I try the left hand, see what it's doing. We're here. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. You get the idea of what the left hand is doing, and that's wonderful. Now over on page 15, just start around measure, measure 12, the end of the 2nd line, you're here. And that D, well, you played it in measure 11, it's tied here. And you're going to play it again. But then with 2nd finger, we moved. We went here. Now, this is something else that we learn in how to finger. How to figure out a fingering. Which finger do we use when? A lot of times, we will use a repeated note to change hand positions. Because when you play a repeated note, you're going to let the note up anyway. You can't connect it to itself. So I can connect a note to another one next to it or whatever. I can connect those together. But if it's a repeated note, you can't connect it. You got to lift up. We take advantage of that and change hand positions sometimes. And that's what's happening here in measure 12. We played the D originally, but then when we play it at the end of that measure, we're going to use 2nd finger. We're going to come up here. And you eventually get to where you don't need to look at the keyboard for this here. So it's 2, 3, and 4. This way we got thumb for E at measure 13. And you need to know what that note is. 2 ledger lines above bass clef is an E. Just know that note. 1 and 2 and 3. That's measure 13. 1 and 2, because the E is tied. Well, if that's confusing you, then take out that tie and play all those notes in measure 13. 1 and 2 and 3, because that's all it is. But then when you can do that okay, then put the tie in. You just hang on to the note rather than playing it twice. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. And again, in measure 14, we got 2 Bs. We're going to use the repeated Bs to change, to move. 4 and then 3. So measure 14 and 3. That way we're just kind of moving around a little bit. And again, eventually you want to get to where you can make that change without even looking at the keyboard. You can feel going up or down 1 key and be okay. Takes a little practice, but you'll get there. Then once you get the hands each sort of working, I understand what they're doing. I got the problems worked out. Then I try putting them together, and sometimes it's like starting over, but hey, we do what we do. So we're here. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's go over to page 15. measure 7, there, 1. Now, and measure 8. As I'm playing this, I gotta get the left hand up here to have it here ready to go before I need it. So it's out. And then as I play that, I get back down here quick. Get the hand up there, or moving a hand, get it there before you need it if possible. Don't wait till you need to be there to move it, it's too late. So again, measure 7. And then here. Then measure 12. We're here. We'll start with measure 11. Now that's tied. And that's a half note. Hold it down, and now the left hand's going to move. And as I play the E, the right hand comes up. Wondering why are they doing these parentheses? That has a different meaning in music. Generally, when they put a finger number in parentheses, it's considered a courtesy number or courtesy. Sometimes they'll put a sharp or flat in parentheses. They're courtesy signs. It's not needed. The number's needed because it moved. And why they're putting these finger numbers in parentheses, it's apparently just something this publisher's done, because music generally doesn't do that. You got to move to get there, and all you need is the finger number. You don't need the parentheses. They don't help at all. So ignore the parentheses. Just read the numbers. We're fine. And once you're there for measure 12, you moved up here. That finger number, that's the only finger number you need until you get to measure 14. When you move again, you don't need these finger numbers in measure 13. You're in this position. You just remember it. You have to remember which note each finger is on, even when you move around. You'll get there. It's just, don't read finger numbers. Read the notes. You're in this position. Use whatever finger you got to play that note. And then when you move, you need another finger number to tell you to move. So put the hands together, and then I'll go back over it slowly, maybe with a metronome, and make sure there's no hesitations. It's a steady pulse, start to finish. With 8 notes, you might have to slow it down. Just the whole thing, start to finish, with no hesitations, except maybe the page turn. We'll deal with that later. After the hesitations are gone, then I think about the articulation, which they really don't give us much. Slurs and things like that, you can read the words on that. Lift up when you get a comma or something, so you have a phrase. So it's like measure 6. Lamb, that's the word, and there's a comma. So before you play measure 7, lift up. Don't connect measure 6 to measure 7. No, like taking a breath. You're just cutting the whole note just a little bit short so you can lift up. Yeah, so you can put in the phrasing that way if you just follow the commas and periods and so forth in the words. Like in, pick up to measure 12 here. And then they have a comma. You can lift up, but now don't lift up, it's connected. So, actually, you have choices on how you interpret it. You might want to connect all that pretty much together. Yeah, but don't lift up between measure 13 and 14. That should be all connected. It's all one thought. Then after the articulation, I think about the dynamics. It starts out MP and mezzo piano, and it's going to be both hands because there's no real melody here. Sort of soft. And then in measure 4, soft, now moderately loud. The left hand here is background, so it's soft. The measure 7, now it's all mellow. Now it's soft, it's like an echo. And then when you get to measure 13, you have an F for loud. A little louder than you were. Heavy. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't tense up and stay relaxed. And you're pretty much staying loud until the end, the last two measures on page 16. You start it loud. Well, I don't agree with that. Let's look at this. The song ended measure 18 when the words ended. So starting at measure 16, it's that's it. We're done. This is like an afterthought, like you had an introduction, now you have a coda. I play this a little softer. And then at the end, the 22, come down even more. I'd come down to very soft. And slow down. And this curved line at the end, you're going to roll the chord. Most of the time it's not rhythmic, it's just rolled, one note at a time. Hold them down quickly. Try and make it even. However, as part of interpreting it, we don't always roll these chords the same speed. Depends on the situation. Here, because you're slowing down, to do that just seems out of context. It doesn't fit. I don't want to slow down and then have that. No, I'm going to slow the rolled chord down too. How fast you go, that is entirely up to you. It's totally, you feel it. Experiment with different speeds on that rolled chord and see how you feel. But starting with the pickup to measure 19, I would play the rest of this at medium soft or softer. I would not keep loud like you were with the words. That was loud. This needs to be in the background. Yeah, in my opinion. That's interpretation. As far as the speed goes, which again is interpretation, it says thoughtfully. Well, that's not a speed. If you were going to sing it, how fast would you sing it? Starting with the melody at the pickup to measure 5. How fast would you sing all of that? And that can be your thoughtfully. Now we have a page turn to deal with again, but in this case, it shouldn't be too much of a problem because at the bottom of page 15, you have 2 whole measures where the right hand isn't doing anything. So while the left hand is doing that, sometime in there, go ahead and turn the page with the right hand and you're ready to go. Hopefully here it's not a problem. You just got to get the idea you're playing in one hand while doing something totally different in the other. That takes practice too. Again, it's the independence of the hands. Remember the natural accents. 1, 2, 3, 4. Feel the natural accents all the way through as you're doing this. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear them. Just feel them. The fermata at the end, you just hold that out for what feels right. If you're not sure, just double it and hold it 8 counts instead of 4. It's a felt thing. Now once you can play this slowly with no hesitations, let's play it together. Make sure you have the correct notes and rhythms. Now we're not performing it. I'm not going to do louds and softs. We're going to go slow. And I can't do a page turn. So we're going to do pages 14 and 15, and then we're going to stop. I'm going to turn the page, and then I'll count us in again, another 4 counts, and then we'll do the rest of it. 1, 2, ready, and go, and 1 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 4 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Stop and turn the page. 1, 2, ready, and go, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 1 and 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, off. I'd like to play the duet at the bottom of this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and you got to be able to get the page turned because I'm not going to stop for that. So I'll give us 4 counts. Again, I need you to go up on the keyboard, so just pretend the middle C on the keyboard instead of here is up here. And instead of here, you're up here. Play it all up here. 1, 2, ready, go.